Blake Lively is opening up about the pain she was caused by Justin Baldoni's countersuit, which she declares has been defeated with the judge's dismissal. Like so many others, I've felt the pain of a retaliatory lawsuit, including the manufactured shame that tries to break us, the actress, 37, wrote on her Instagram stories on Monday, June 9th. While the suit against me was defeated, so many don't have the resources to fight back. Lively added that she is now more resolved than ever to continue to stand for every woman's right to have a voice in protecting themselves, including their safety, their integrity, their dignity, and their story. With love and gratitude for the many who stood by me, many of you I know, many of you I don't, but I will never stop appreciating or advocating for you, she wrote. As part of the post, Lively shared a list of organizations for relevant resources and information. California Employment Lawyers Association, California Women's Law Center, Child USA, Coalition Against Trafficking in Women, Equal Rights Advocates, Esperanza United, Her Justice, Her University Incorporated, National Network to End Domestic Violence, National Organization for Women, National Organization for Women NYC, New York City Alliance Against Sexual Assault, New York Cyber Abuse Task Force, NEW, York State Anti-Trafficking Coalition, Sanctuary for Families, Urban Resource Institute, Women's Equal Justice, and Women's Justice Now. Among these organizations were groups and experts that recently filed amicus briefs in the ongoing case, sounding the alarm on what they called Baldoni's attempt to dismantle a law designed to protect women who speak up. A spokesperson for Lively said in a previous statement. On June 9th, Judge Louis J. Lyman granted motions to dismiss the $400 million lawsuit against Lively and her husband Ryan Reynolds, which alleged extortion and defamation, plus Baldoni's $250 million defamation lawsuit against the New York Times. Her lawyers hailed the decision as a total victory and a complete vindication for the actress. In their statement after the dismissal news, Lively's attorneys Ezra Hudson and Mike Gottlieb noted, "As we have said from day one, this $400 million lawsuit was a sham, and the court saw right through it." They added that they look forward to the next round, which is seeking attorneys' fees, treble damages, and punitive damages against Baldoni and the Wayfarer parties, who perpetrated this abusive litigation. Judge Lyman noted in his June 9th filing that Baldoni's legal team can still amend the claims for breach of implied covenant and tortious interference with contract if they choose to move forward, with a deadline of June 23rd. Lively sued her It Ends With Us director co-star Baldoni, 41, plus others in December 2024, alleging sexual harassment and retaliation, which he has denied. She recently agreed to drop 2 of her claims against Baldoni, intentional and negligent infliction of emotional distress, in a move her legal team described as a routine part of the litigation process for streamlining and focusing their case. In March, Friedman spoke out after Lively filed a motion to dismiss their countersuit, saying the actress' attempt to dismiss herself from the self-concocted disaster she initiated is one of the most abhorrent examples of abusing our legal system. He added at the time, "Stringent rules are put into place to protect the innocent and allow individuals to rightfully defend themselves. Laws are not meant to be twisted and curated by privileged elites to fit their own personal agenda." Their trial is set for March 2026. On the March 25th episode of his podcast, Arnold's Pump Club, the Terminator actor and former governor of California Arnold Schwarzenegger revealed that he underwent surgery at the Cleveland Clinic to get a pacemaker installed. "Last Monday, I had surgery to become a little bit more of a machine. I got a pacemaker," said the True Lies actor. Although sharing health issues goes against his upbringing in Austria, where nobody, ever, talked about medical issues, Schwarzenegger decided to be transparent with his audience. The 76-year-old shared a picture on Instagram of himself wearing the device with a message of gratitude for all the kind messages from around the world. He also reassured fans of his television show Fubar that his new pacemaker won't slow him down, writing, "I will be ready to film in April, and you can only see it, the device, if you're really looking for it." On his podcast, he went on to say, "I've gotten so many messages and emails from people who were born with a bicuspid aortic valve, like me, telling me that talking about my valve replacement surgeries has given them courage and hope to deal with their own." What is a pacemaker and what does it do? A pacemaker is a small, battery-powered device that prevents the heart from beating too slowly, says Patrick Whalen, MD, an associate professor of medicine, a cardiologist, and the director of electrophysiology at Atrium Health Wake Forest Baptist in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. The purpose of a pacemaker is to keep the heart beating at a normal rhythm. If it senses that it's beating too slowly, the device sends electrical signals to correct the beat. Who needs a pacemaker? Pacemakers treat heart failure, a condition that happens when the heart can't pump enough blood to the body. They're also used to treat certain types of arrhythmias, or irregular heartbeat. But not everyone with an arrhythmia needs a pacemaker. People will commonly ask if a pacemaker will cure their atrial fibrillation, a fib, an irregular and often very rapid heart rhythm. A pacemaker will keep the heart rate from going too low, but won't fix a fib, says Dr. Whalen. Another question people ask Whalen is whether a pacemaker is the same as an implantable cardiac defibrillator. It's not. A defibrillator monitors your heart rate and delivers a strong electrical shock to restore the heartbeat to normal in the event of tachycardia, fast heartbeat. But defibrillators can also serve as pacemakers. They deliver a weaker shock to correct slower than normal heartbeat. 1. People who are born with heart defects may eventually need a pacemaker. There are a few different causes of arrhythmia frowny face too. Use of beta blockers, which are medicines to lower blood pressure that can slow the heartbeat. Heart attack. Heart transplant. Certain congenital, a condition you are born with, heart defects. Schwarzenegger was born with the most common congenital heart defect, called a bicuspid aortic valve. The condition affects about 2% of the population, and it's when the aortic valve contains only 2 leaflets, also called flaps, instead of the normal 3. The aortic valve controls the flow of blood from the left ventricle chamber to the aorta, which is the main artery that delivers blood to the body. 3. For most people with a bicuspid aortic valve, the valves work fine for many years, and they may not even know they have the condition. Over time, usually sometime in middle age, these leaflets may be thicker and stiffer than normal too, which may cause aortic stenosis, a condition where the valve won't open as easily as it should when the heart squeezes. As a result, the left side of the heart has to work much harder than normal. Over time, this can damage the heart muscle and even lead to symptoms of heart failure. It isn't clear why people are born with the condition, but it often runs in families. Schwarzenegger's mother and grandmother also had bicuspid valves. The actor believes that medical innovation and being very diligent about staying in touch with my doctors and listening to them is the reason he's still alive. His mom refused to have the valve replacement surgery and died as a result, he said. Schwarzenegger has had previous heart surgeries. On his podcast, the actor said he had the pacemaker implanted on the advice of his doctors. It was time to go through with this because some scar tissue from my previous surgery had made my heartbeat irregular. It had been like that for a few years. Schwarzenegger first had his heart valves replaced in 1997, and then again 21 years later in 2018. The valves typically last 12 to 15 years. There was a complication during the second surgery, so the actor had only one replaced, and then had the other replaced in 2020, he told his listeners. Arnold is already back to his previous energy level. Most modern pacemakers are wireless and are inserted with a catheter into a vein in the thigh and moved up to the heart. Guided by X-rays, the doctor uses the catheter to put the pacemaker into place in a heart chamber, and the whole procedure often takes less than an hour. 4. According to the actor, his energy levels are already back to normal just a week after the pacemaker was implanted. That's one thing you learn about an irregular heartbeat. All that extra work your heart does wears you out, he said. The quick recovery is fairly typical, says Whalen. Most patients go home the same day or the next day after getting a pacemaker, he says. Pacemakers can improve quality of life. The point of a pacemaker is to enable people to do as much or more than you could do without it, says Whalen. The device allows many people to be more active and hopefully help them stay out of the hospital and live longer, he says. After the procedure, patients will see their doctor after a couple of weeks, and then once a year after that. Pacemakers also send reports directly to the doctor every 3 months. If any arrhythmias are found, the pacemaker notifies the doctor right away. There are risks involved with getting a pacemaker, including infection near the implant site, blood clots, and damage to blood vessels or nerves, as well as a few rarer complications. People considering a pacemaker should talk with their doctor about the risks and benefits before electing to get one inserted. 5. Signs you may need a pacemaker. There are symptoms that could indicate heart issues and perhaps the need for a pacemaker. They include frowny face 6, chest pain, unusually fast or slow heartbeat, irregular heartbeat, heart palpitations, shortness of breath, unexplained dizziness, lightheadedness, nausea, or fainting, unexplained confusion, swelling in your ankles, legs, and abdomen, getting up to pee several times a night. Near the end of the podcast, Schwarzenegger offered some final words of encouragement to his listeners. I want you to know you aren't alone. And if you're putting something off out of fear, I hope I inspire you to listen to your doctors and take care of yourself.